Alright, what's going on, guys? It's GCP here playing some Black Ops 4. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the gameplay in the background. Let's talk about the Modern Warfare beta and how there might potentially be skill-based matchmaking in it. If that is indeed the case, that is a big disappointment because skill-based matchmaking is not fun for anyone. And let me tell you a couple of reasons why. Two specifically that come to mind. And number one is probably the most important. It will always prioritize matching you up with someone of equal or better skill level, and it will jeopardize your connection. And of course, we already know, especially for first-person shooters, connection is everything. So if you don't have a good connection, those critical seconds where your shots are not registering can be the difference between life and death. So that will cause you to either have a good time while playing the game or not. And most of the time, when they're jeopardizing connection, you're probably not gonna have a good time. So I think it's important for us to be able to jump into a game and not have to worry about skill-based matchmaking. You have to prioritize always connection. Connection is the most important thing. So, you know, if I'm here in California and I'm being matched up with somebody, let's say for example from the UK or, you know, Russia or something like that, because of someone having the same or better skill level to me, just because of that skill-based matchmaking algorithm, that's not gonna benefit the connection. Can you imagine the ping levels that will, you know, be a result of that? That will be so insane, and we would be jumping frames, we'd be all over the place, you know, you could be lagging and all sorts of things. It just would not be a good experience. So that's number one. Number one is connection. Connection is the most important thing. That's something that we need to hold on to and prioritize over everything else. Secondly, it does not make you a better player. Now, I understand that they always want to prioritize, you know, having a good experience for noobs, so that way they don't always get shut down and don't get discouraged. But let's be honest, guys, if you get into a mixed lobby, sometimes you're gonna come across people who are better than you and you might get smacked. Other times you might come across a noob lobby and people who are, maybe if you're not that good of a player, you might come across people who are also not good players or someone who's actually worse than you. So if you have a lobby, a public, especially a core game mode that prioritizes skill-based matchmaking, you're gonna always come across people of equal skill level and you will not have that sort of mix. And variety is good. It's good to have a variety of good and bad players, and you're not always gonna come across people who are better than you. It's just not the case. You know, we want a balance. And I believe that skill-based matchmaking should be in ranked and ranked only. Okay, that makes more sense. But in a core or public match, it doesn't make any sense for someone to have skill-based matchmaking in there. It really doesn't. That's my concern with skill-based matchmaking. I remember in Advanced Warfare how skill-based matchmaking was extremely frustrating. On top of the verticality, the exo movements, you know, all those things were a skill gap. They all required a skill gap because it allowed you to be able to have to navigate, or actually made you navigate a little more, think a little more. It was a lot more, how do you put this? Skill, not on top of the skill level and the skill gap, but the experience as well as the learning curve. That's what I want to talk to you guys about. The learning curve. The learning curve in that game was extremely high. So on top of learning the exo movements and strafing, you had to worry about the verticality, and that was really the first time that verticality was an issue in Call of Duty. And on top of that, you're paired with skill-based matchmaking? Yo, that is an extremely sweaty game to have to memorize, you know, the spawns, to memorize, you know, how to move the exo movements in order to get them down to have the most smooth gameplay you can have. The weapons, of course, they had variants. That's another thing. Can you believe it? They had different weapons that were stat changing. So that game was insane. And a lot of people were frustrated with that game, me included. So if you have a game like Modern Warfare, which I have been seeing gameplay of and I've been watching videos of, with the maps being as campy as they are, that encourage camping and head glitching, And on top of that, you're gonna slap skill-based matchmaking in the game, causing it to be even more sweaty? That really does not make any sense, and that will not have people having a good time in the game. But that's just what I think. I know a lot of you guys have been playing the game, and a lot of you guys have been saying that it's fun, but it does encourage camping. So I hope they fix that. I hope skill-based matchmaking is not in the game, and if it is, I hope they take it out fast. Especially tomorrow when the Modern Warfare beta drops for the Xbox and PC players, and with the addition of crossplay as well. I'm really hoping to have a good time. And, you know, I don't want to come across lobbies where they're constantly sweating, because I already know I'm going to get paired up with some pretty decent players. And especially when I'm coming across crossplay and different platforms and, you know, maybe PC players as well, I might get smacked or come across lobbies that are really sweaty. So I don't want that to happen all the time. It's okay to happen every once in a while, but I want to get into some lobbies where, you know, I find some noobs as well and have some good times and actually have fun. So that's just what I think. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. With that all being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is GCP, signing off.